Welcome back to my channel. I am Brooklyn Babel, and hey, how are y'all? It is my November reading wrap up, and y'all, I swear, I was like reading, but I didn't know I was devouring books. I didn't know. I got to December 1st, and I was like, you read 23 books last month? That's what you did? You did that? You read 5,580 pages? Pull it together. Pull it together. But I did. And I'm here to share with each of you what I read, what I liked, what I didn't like, what I could do with more of, what I could do with a little less of. So yeah, let's just get into it. Y'all know I don't like to keep y'all too long, but y'all, I haven't talked about my stats, I think, in like 3 videos. So let's just do one for the funsies, right? Like, let's just do one for a funsie to say we did it. Okay. In the month of November, like I said, I read 23 books. Okay. That is 5,580 pages read. And I am sorry, my camera has decided it's not my friend. So I see it's like doing a little bit of a thing. Let me just see. Okay, so all these books, I had different moods. The moods were lit. Let's talk about pace. So I don't know if we're the ones setting the pace. And y'all know, if you don't know, I use Storygraph. I'll put a link to my Storygraph page in the caption down below. I use Storygraph because I like data, and the data doesn't lie. And I like for the data to tell me things, and I like to explore it and see, like, what can you get from the data? This is from a person who analyzed data at work and still does to this day. It's crazy. Okay, but it intrigues me. So the pace of all the books that I read in the month of November, 59% was fast. So that was probably like the novellas that I was reading, because I read quite a few. They consider those fast. Slow was 18% and medium was 24%. And I think that goes hand in hand with the other graph that is like right below it, which is page number, right? So clearly, if it's less than 300 pages, the pace is very fast, which reads because I read 70% of books that were less than 300 pages in the month. And then the slow I'm considering is my 500 plus, which I had 4% of books that were 500 plus pages. And then medium was 24% pace, like the pace of the book. But that medium chunk was 300 to 499 page books, which was also 26%. So that reads, is giving compare and contrast. Okay. Now, as far as page number, I only read one book that was over 500 pages, and we'll talk about that book. 300 to 499, I read 6 books. And then less than 300 pages, I read 16. So that's how I was able to fly through them things. Okay. Because clearly the data don't lie. I read 16 books under 300 pages, and it don't take me that long to read no book. And so that's what happened. Okay. Fiction and nonfiction, y'all. If you've been watching my videos since January, so I have done a wrap up for every month, I think, except for August. But August was kind of like my mid-year, like, I need a nap month. I don't know what I was doing in August. I don't even think I posted on YouTube in August. But since the month of January, when I read Rest is Resistance, your girl has not picked up one nonfiction book. Are there nonfiction books on these shelves? Yes, there are. Their little shelf is actually over here. But did I pick them up? No. No, I did not. That's okay. It's been a fiction year, okay? But I did read, I read 2. Well, I finished. So I think I started one of them in like August, the month of my doom, and didn't finish it until November. I do that sometimes. There's a few of them over there I need to finish. And then my fiction was 88%. Nonfiction was 12%. I finished 2 nonfiction books last month, so I'm really proud of myself. Y'all, I don't wasted coffee on these pants. These are my favorite sweatpants from Madewell. I have coffee grinds on one leg and drip from the coffee on the other. This is ridiculous. Alicia, do better. Because you're supposed to be like, oh, it's water from here. Okay, so it's not coffee. Okay, good. Sorry, focus. Y'all know I got ADHD. Okay, genres. I read 9 romance books, 3 erotica books, 2 books about race, 2 books about fantasy, 2 books about contemporary, 1 middle grade, 1 that was considered a classic, 1 that was considered a short story, 1 about religion. But you know what? Looking at this, these overlap because the race and religion is like, yeah, memoir. I ain't reading nobody memoir. Okay, maybe 1, but then that would be the race and religion book. Okay. Literary 1, essays 1. Yep. Okay, so these all, they just put it in the category, and it might be in different, or it might be in more than one for genres because they are in more than one. So format, y'all, I read 4 physical books. Let's give it up. Let's give it up because y'all know I don't be picking up my physical books because I be on Kindle or I be on my e-reader or whatever on my phone. But because I don't like lugging books through the streets in New York. Listen, they're heavy. They're heavy. Where's Babbel? Babbel gets left at home every day because it's so big. I'd be like, leave it. That's why I ain't read it, because I refuse to put it in my damn bag. I don't want to. So 4 books print. The rest was all digital. Clearly, I did my best. I did my best, y'all. I really did. All the language are in English. I mean, all the language is English. I read all my books in English. And then my average rating for the month was 4.3 stars. Yeah, and then of course I said it at the top, 5,580 pages. Those are my stats. Do y'all like stats? Literally my favorite thing to pull up over drinks with people. They be like, "You read a lot?" I be like, "Yeah, let me show you my stats." Kind of like a basketball player. He'd be like, "I got 4 triple doubles and a rebound." You'd be like, "Oh, okay, whatever." But mine is on the app, so I feel special. All right, let's get into these 23 books. I am not going to hold y'all. We are already at 8 minutes. So I am going to go as quickly as possible. Some of them are series, so I'll talk about them together so we don't have to take up that much time. But let's be about our Father's business. Okay, so the first book that I read was Come Sit On It by India T Norfleet. India T Norfleet is an erotic author, a Black erotic author. And listen, I don't think I need to say much. The book is called Come Sit On It. Okay. Amory Graham thought that she was officially on the road to living happily ever after the minute she and Dominic got together. Unfortunately, nothing could have been further from the truth. In fact, no man had ever shattered her heart quite like he did. Her fairy tale quickly became a nightmare, far worse than any horror movie that Hollywood could have ever depicted. It was then that she decided to gather the few salvageable pieces of her broken heart that was left lying on the ground, along with the little strength she could muster, and moved on with her life. Y'all, these are some words for an erotic story. Listen, it's a lot. It's not this much story in the book. And the book is really about the sex. That's what it's about. Avery is more confused than ever in the uncertainty, child, and it sends her mind, heart, and soul bearing out of control quickly. And Marie finds herself torn between a past that nearly broke her. This is really a lot of words for this erotic book. Y'all, this book is only 100 pages. Y'all, the book is nasty. Go read it. I'm not doing it. What? I'm sorry. I just have a lot of books I got to get through. Come Sit On It. It is literally 116 pages of erotica. Okay. And they love each other. I think it's love at first sight. Yeah, it was. It was love at first sight, and it was good. I gave it 4 stars. Okay, because I really want to get to the next books. I'm sorry, I really like India, but that was the longest, I think, introduction for an erotic story I've ever read in my life. Good grief. Okay, but I love India. I read 3 of her other books in this month, so we'll talk about her again. Or we'll talk about her work again. Okay, the next book that I read was Red Roses and Regrets by Dandridge Monroe. I gave this book a 5 stars. A dreaded engagement, secret spill, bloodshed, all before dinner is served. Jasmine and Jacoba's worlds collide in the most extraordinary way. Do they have staying power, or will their fire burn out as quickly as it is ignited? This is a prequel for the upcoming dark romance series, The Consortium. It will introduce new characters and a few old. Expect the first full-length novel this fall. Let me tell y'all something. Let me tell you something. 5 stars for the prequel. 5 stars for I want us to sit with that for a moment. Y'all, I had to stop the video because I was like, wait. So I read two urban kind of like criminal enterprise books, and they were starting to kind of melt together. In this one, Yakoba came into this girl's engagement and acted a donkey. Like he was just like, this man owed me money. Ma'am, you don't know it, but he got some secrets, and I'm here to spill them. And you pretty. Listen, I'm fucking with you. Okay. And chaos ensues. Because how you come to this man's planned engagement and walk out with the future fiance? He he kidnaps her. Kidnaps her. He messes up her engagement. He kidnaps her, plies her with like the information necessary, makes her fall in love with him, and then we get book two. I couldn't believe that Yakoba really acted like this. And I feel like that there's a special place in hell for anyone who sleeps with a family member. I know that's random, but if you sleeping with your cousin's man or your cousin's woman or whatever, I think that there's a special place in hell for you. The second book in the consortium is Uwu, and all the girls on book Twitter and book talk was talking about this book, and I was like, y'all, this book cannot be this good. It was. Yakoba and Jasmine were a pairing destined to happen, thrown together in the unlikeliest of ways because snatched her up about her engagement party. Trouble is brewing both within and outside of the consortium. The elders wonder if Jasmine can be trusted. Child, they put this girl through test on test on test on test on test. Okay. If Jasmine can be trusted, especially when old enemies threaten her freedom, this couple has to find a way to come out on top by any means necessary. Do they have what it takes to make it to forever? I like the consortium because historically, these were the families that escaped slavery. And instead of being like upstanding Black people, they decided they were going to do or have like a criminal enterprise. So these are generations of these families all connected in this consortium. Gang gang. I loved it. What? Okay, so I did give I gave it 4 stars because I just felt like Red Roses and Regrets, the way Dandridge came out was she was ready to tussle with that first one. So I'm looking forward to see if the consortium has more books because clearly there are more people in the consortium. So I want to, and I want updates on the first two. So good. Okay, so moving on. The next book I read was Made for You by Cami Holt. It was 349 pages. I really like Cami Holt. I just started reading her this year, but I have been reading more and more of her books. She has a really good catalog. In Made for You, why doesn't she love me? That's the question that lives rent free in. Okay, I'm sorry. This is not a ick at all, but y'all, I don't be knowing these characters' names. Like this clearly looks like Siani. We're going with Siani because it's a C-I and a Y-A-N-I. Okay. And so if you used to work with kids and you had to read the list with the kids' names, you get kind of good at read. Okay, Siani Robinson's head. After tragedy strikes, her mother completely abandons her, leaving her with responsibilities that she was not old enough to handle on her own. The walls begin to close in on her as she tries her hardest to keep her head above water. In this cruel world, caught between a rock and a hard place, she makes the tough decision that changes the course of her life. Justice Graham seems to have it all, have the perfect life on the outside. He's fine, wealthy, and educated, but something is missing. His parents were the blueprint for Black love in his eyes. That type of love doesn't exist in his world. His he's content with his situation just the way it is until a feisty little beauty barrels into his life. Can he handle all the baggage that comes with her? Right, because she's raising her siblings. He is like, what we call like a Black unicorn. He's a single Black. Well, he's actually not single when he meets her. He has a girlfriend, but he takes like a really deep interest and liking into this girl because of like her situation, her life situation, and all these things. And then he ends up getting rid of the girlfriend and ends up falling for her, but she has all this stuff going on. Her crazy ass mama. I gave it a 4.5. It was good. It was good, and I like. He wasn't her. He was her Prince Charming. So it's like yeah, he was like her hood Prince Charming. Like his family was well to do. They had like this community center, like, and he would see her all the time. And he just knew that she was like down and out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if she really wasn't down and out, but she wasn't where he was at. And so he was able to kind of step in and kind of give her a kind of confidence boost, as well as like a love that she had never known before. And for them to be doing it as young as they were, I'm like, I could see this with some 35-year-olds, some 25-year-olds. They was like early 20s. Yeah. But you know, in all these books, all the people be 20. And that's not shade, that's just what it is. I don't know why we like writing books about 20-year-olds. Can we get some books about 35 and up? Okay. Okay, I'm done. And not a 35-year-old wanting to be with an 8-year age gap. We like to do that too. We'll have a 38-year-old or a 31-year-old with an 8-year age gap. And you be like, oh God, she ain't that fucking mature. Like she's not. Like put these people with people in their age group and give me love stories between 30-year-olds with 32-year-olds and 35-year-olds with 36-year-olds. Like, come on. Damn. Okay, that's just that's one of my things. Okay. The next book that I read was Tongue Deep by India Norfleet. It was 101 pages. And again, short, sweet, to the point. Brooke Mills adores everything about being an adult film reviewer and event coordinator until her boss retires and his replacement is brought in to steer the ship. Suddenly, Brooke is on edge and ready to do whatever it takes to get away from the sexy jerk of a beast who makes her touch herself even when he's not around. Child, this man came in and wrecked shop. Okay, his parents owned this like sex, like a sex conglomerate. So they did films, they had toys, they had stores, they had all these things. Da, 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 da. And he came in and was now her boss, but he really liked her. But he was like a jerk and a womanizer, and she was like, "No, leave me alone." But he wouldn't. He wore this woman down. He really did, and it wasn't in a disrespectful way. He just wore her down. So erotic again, Tongue Deep by India T Norfleet. I gave it 4 stars. So did I give it? I didn't even give it, y'all. It was good. I gave it 4 stars. I don't know how I be doing this. How do I get to this? Okay, going back. Mm. Y'all still with me? I hope so. I'm trying to go really fast, y'all. I swear. Uh, okay. So the next book that I read was The Rival Bid by Reese Ryan. I don't think I've ever read any books by Reese Ryan, but I think I gave this like a 3.75 because that's why I like Storygraph, because you can give multiple different numbers, not just 5, 4, 3, 2, like on that other app. Okay, so in The Rival Bid by Reese Ryan, she'll fight for whatever she wants, even if she has to make a deal with the devil. Camellia Anthony painstakingly restores older Chicagoland homes to their former glory. So when the opportunity arises to acquire an abandoned block of homes and a school in her neighborhood of Southside Park, she's ready to take on the challenge, but she'll need help of her former crush and frequent real estate rival. Okay, so Mackay Arrington, he has a bad taste in his mouth. Camelia's family did something, or he perceives that they did something that made his father like fall out of grace in the real estate in Chicagoland, and he comes back with a vengeance. He doesn't want to work with her. He's trying to gentrify the neighborhood. It takes working with her for him to pump them brakes on gentrification. You want to gentrify the neighborhood? God damn. What? They made you that mad? It's an enemies to lovers. It was a hard one. Okay. It was they spun the block. They knew each other as kids. He been mad at them since they was teenagers. Like, it was a whole lot happening. But I will say I like the resolve of the book, and how it ended was super cute. Okay. So, all right. If you haven't seen on Book Talk, Book Twitter, or Bookstagram, Demon's Dream and Unexpected Love by Elle Kayson. She's a thickie. Okay, she's 768 pages. I don't know how I got roped into reading almost 800 pages worth of urban fiction, but let me tell you, I read it in one day. I sure did. Yo, I read it in one day. So ridiculous. Demon Montana, clawing my way from the depths of hell to hunt the nightmares and steal the lives of many. I earned the name Demon, hardened by a life that no one should live. I had rules that govern my existence. No caring, no intimacy, no love. And then I saw her, Dream. Beautiful, brave, bold. And for 30 days, she was mine. I would follow my rules, have her body, ignore her heart. She looked at me like she knew me, like she saw me, like she loved me. And I knew 30 days weren't nearly enough. Dream Castle. Brilliant, badass. I was my family's fixer. I was the queen of negotiating and smoothing ruffled feathers. I had never met a situation I couldn't talk us out of until my brother crossed the wrong family and they would accept only one payment for that debt. Me. For 30 days, I was supposed to give myself to a man so brutal they called him demon. I had to follow his rules, honor his demands, be available to him only. When I met him, he had nightmares in his cold green eyes and an enemy's blood splattered on his body. Okay. Okay. She is the fixer. Her brother done made a fuck ass decision to get somebody's daughter pregnant he wasn't supposed to. And she has to fix it. And the daddy is like, okay, well, it's a body for a body. Y'all took my daughter and got her pregnant. I want your daughter. We'll sully her good name because she's like a lawyer. She went to Ivy League school, but she fixes all of her family's criminal enterprising like problems because she's smart as fuck. And it's always a woman having to be the fixer. And so her daddy just leans on her hard body. But when her and Demon meet, they actually really bang with each other. He actually is kind of like socially awkward and he doesn't want, nobody else around him, but he really fucks with her. I think he thinks she's beautiful. She's clearly smart. Like, he's like, you don't even have to be around your fuck ass family. You come up here and roll with me. Y'all, it was drama, okay? And she's more than meets the eye. So them two linking up together was like a match made in urban romance, like heaven. It was so good. I gave it 5 stars. Almost 800 pages. Urban romance. He walking in, y'all, the first scene, he's covered in blood. He just murdered 10 people. Okay, maybe it was 5, but he goes on killing sprees. It's dark. It's dark. I didn't say it wasn't dark. I just said it was urban. But would I say read it? Yes, I would. Yes, I would. 5 stars. Okay, on a lighter note, I read The Memory Thieves, the Controverse book number 2 by Dhonielle Clayton, and we are back at the Marveler School, the Arcanum Training Institute for Young Marvelers. And y'all, I okay. I read Dhonielle Clayton's adult books. None of them had me as like engrossed and enthralled as is my mic on? It is. As her young adult books. How dare I go from that urban romance over here, Demon's Dream, to The Memory Thieves? I am ridiculous. So sorry. But we meet Ella and her 2 best friends on their second year at the Arcanum. They have bested the worst of their kind, but they have come to find that conjurers, which is what Elle is, had something to do with the building of the Arcanum, so this school. So everyone has this issue with conjurers being at the school, but now we're finding out that conjurers built the school and gave the ability for this motherfucker to fly. Child, it's and most of the conjurers, I'm sure you can understand, are black and brown people from New Orleans, Harlem. Some of them are indigenous peoples, like from out west and things like that. So of course, we already know that kind of race and status have a lot to do with this world. But Dhonielle does such a good job of integrating this young conjurer girl into Marvellian society and making her, she is the person that's figuring it out. None of the other adults are looking to, none of the adults are looking to really figure this out. They just want things to be fixed and finished, and y'all stay on y'all side, we'll stay on our side, but it's not equal. And so she is uncovering the harsh truths that no one wants anyone to find out. And the big bad from book 1 is really turning out not to be that bad. I I actually understand why she was upset and why she would want to bring the Marvellian society out of the sky. I now understand. So I gave this book a 4.5 stars. I am really looking to see if we'll get 3 or 4 books, but I am looking to see how this series will come to a close. It's been such a fun ride. And if you like fantasy and you like middle grade and you like magical like schools, I think the Arcanum is a great school and it's a great backdrop for these young marvelers and conjurers. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. 4.5 stars. Oh, I gave it 5 stars actually. Oh, I gave it 4.5 on Storygraph and 5 stars on Goodreads because they don't let you do 0.5. Whatever. Okay. The next book I read was A Break from Normal by Desiree Francis. Does love really conquer all, or does love really have nothing to do with it most of the time? Can unlikely friends grow to be more than that when there are so many forces trying to keep them apart? So Nicole is like a poet and a writer, and her best friend is a singer, but then she meets another singer who's bigger than her friend, and they build like a friendship, and then he's like flying her out. He wants her to help him make music. Like it becomes like this whole thing. He's falling for her. She is like, oh no, 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 no. Stop this right where we're at. And he's like, I don't understand like why you just wouldn't want to fuck with me. Like, and she's like, I don't want to be in the public eye. I want nothing to do with this. And he's just like, I just want to love you. All I want to do is love you. And she is like running the opposite direction, honey. So it is 409 pages of this woman literally running in the other direction. Do they get there happily ever after? Yes. Was it difficult? Yes. I gave it 4 stars. It was great. It was great. And there's another book like in this series that I want to try to get to, but y'all know I have a hard stop of December 15th. Felicia is not reading a book after December 15th. I'll be at 200 by then, and your girl is done for the year. I'm resting and relaxing for the rest of the year. So hopefully I'll circle back to the other book that Desiree Francis did in this series. If not, I'll pick it up at the top of the year. The next book I read was a sad one. Okay. It was Moment in Time by BriAnn Danae. And this is about two friends. Like they grew up together. They knew each other since childhood. She has this baby and like he's there for her, but then he like ups and moves and then something tragic happens. He has to come back. And like it's literally a novella. It's 73 pages. But it was one of the saddest things I've read all year. All year. Like it is sad. I was like, please read the triggers. The writing was good, but it was so sad. I don't like sad. I don't like sad. I don't want to read sad. But the book was good. The book was good. Okay. The next book I read was Red Lip Theology for Church Girls Who Consider Tithing to the Beauty Supply Store When Sunday Morning Isn't Enough. I'm just going to read you the description. Benbow writes powerfully about experiences at the heart of her Black womanhood and honoring her single mother's love and triumphs and mourning her unexpected passing. She finds herself forced to shed restrictions she'd been taught to place on her faith practice. And by embracing alternative spirituality and womanist theology and confronting staid attitudes on body positivity and the LGBTQ plus rights, Benbow challenges religious institutions, faith leaders, and communities to reimagine how faith can be a tool of liberation and transformation for women and girls. Blurring the boundaries of righteous and irreverent, Red Lip Theology invites us to discover freedom in a progressive Christian faith that incorporates activism, feminism, and radical authenticity. Essayist and theologian Candice Marie Benbow's essays explore universal themes like heartache, loss, forgiveness, sexuality, and she unflinchingly empowers women who struggle with feeling loved and nurtured by church culture. If I was going to say that there was a book that is a must read for every Black woman raised in the church, this would be it. I think we are conditioned in a way. We are taught, especially, and it's reinforced by our mothers, grandmothers, aunts, and everyone around us, what Black womanhood should look like under the guise of the Christian faith. And I think as we grow and unlearn a lot of things, you need a jumping point, right? So I've read a lot of womanist works. I've read a lot of feminist works. I've read a lot of abolitionist works. I've read a lot of Black cultural pieces just about Black power and Black, the Black community and all the things. And where goeth the woman goes the culture, right? So if that is true, and we are still not under the thumb, but we are still invested in a spiritual practice that dictates what is good, what is pure, what is right, and tells us like, if you do all of these things, you'll get all of these things, but you have to suffer for them. You have to work really hard for them. And it calls a lot of us to be inauthentic to who we really are and what we really believe. and how we would really like to be in this world and what we would like to experience. So I think Candice's writing is, like I said, a courageous jumping point for people, women, femmes, all the things who are looking to live authentically, have a spiritual practice that feels authentic, and just be rooted and resonated in self-love, self-worth, and not be bogged down that what you are doing is wrong. And that you won't have joy, peace, love, laughter, all the things because how you're living is wrong. And that is where I will lay this book down, because I'll be rereading it and going back to all of the chapters, all of the beauty in Black womanhood. Like, it was so inspiring. It took me forever to read it because it was so good. It's so good. Okay. This is really on video. I'm sorry. I haven't done a thicky this long in a while, but here we are. I gave Candice's book a 5. I think it is required reading, and we can leave it there. Because I will never press anyone to go on this journey unless you're ready. Okay, the next book that I read was The Tip of It by India T Norfleet. It's 121 pages. I gave it 3.75. Child, it was just raunchy. It was raunchy. Rain Bridges can't deny that she wants Kanan to take her every which way imaginable, but because of his track record, she refuses to cross that line with the heartbreaker extraordinaire. Y'all, 121 pages of stress, because she could have just gave in if that's what she wanted to do. We could have just gave in. Had to fight. It was such a fight. We didn't have to fight. All right. The next 2 books that I read were Her Grace and Mercy and His Grace and Mercy by Mel Dau. And y'all, I really enjoyed this one. It follows what is her name? Roselle and what's his name? Maverick. Okay, so they knew each other as teenagers. She is the daughter of addicts, and they had her as a child stealing from their drug dealer. As punishment, the drug dealer takes her into her home and makes her like a runner. So even as a child, she's dropping off packages because she's unassuming. She's a kid. But as she grows up, it's kind of like a Cinderella-esque thing. She's under a tyrant who on the outside treats her very nice, but you just know that she doesn't have any good intentions for this girl, and treats her that way, like keeps her under her thumb. Well, while she's in high school, she meets this guy, Maverick. Maverick's dad happens to be the drug dealer's new like competition. And she gets really pissed when Maverick and Roselle end up like in a little dating situation, because of course you feeling yourself, you smelling yourself, you start acting a little different. You start, staying up late at night, talking on the phone. Who you talking to? Like, they was really on girl. They was really on her. And it was kind of very heartbreaking how this girl's life turned out because of her parents. But in part 2, His Grace and Mercy, they kind of meet, or not kind of, they meet back up 5 years later. They're like adults now. She has twins and he has a son, and like it kind of unravels itself to this new family. And she's able to get away from the drug dealer. But here's the thing. This urban romance saga, because it's 2 books, it's a saga to me. It encompasses the romance, the passion, the action, right? The fighting, all the things, and the retribution. I like when the bad people get their retribution in the book. I don't like getting to the end of the book and I don't know if they're going to get got. So I gave the series overall a 4. One book is 177 pages. The other one is 163. Super easy read. I say go for it. I thought they were great. Okay. Then I'm going to try to fly through these last ones. I feel so bad because this video is so long. Okay. I read Black Cool 1000 Strings of Blackness, and I told y'all, I've read a lot of Black nonfiction, right? So about Black people. And I just feel like this one didn't age well. It was written in the early 2000s. And so comparatively to things that have been written in the last 5 years about Blackness and Blackness in America, this didn't age well to me. It didn't really resonate. There were some things that I was like, oh, okay, this is a quotable, like I'll remember this, but I didn't really like it. I gave it 3.5 stars. And we can move on. The next kind of like little groups of book or saga that I read was a BHFD group by Sky Moon, so a Brighton Heights novella. And I loved all three of them. It was Ember, Ignited, 1020, and Soul Ties. And each book follows a different couple that has something to do with either the fire department, some detectives, different things like that. And all of what's happening is connected in all of the books, but they all get their happily ever afters. And so I've read other things by Sky Moon, but these were good. I gave the whole series a 4.5. And that's 4 books. Each one was different. Like each of the couples was different. And so yeah, so that was Ignited, 1020, Ember, and Soul Ties. I was really surprised. I really liked it. I know a lot of her books are much shorter, but these 4 were really good. Okay. The next book I read was Come Get Me by Monica Walters. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. It was 189 pages. Tiffany Henderson, and it's part of the Hendersons, and I really like them, but it's a lot of their books, and I haven't read all of their books, but I did read 8 Seconds to Love in that series, and these kind of bleed over into those, or those kind of bleed into these, so I did like it. Tiffany Henderson, she's the baby girl out of her 6 siblings, and the only one who hasn't found love while chasing her dreams, owning a successful business, and being an innovator in the rodeo industry. Y'all know I like black cowboys and cowgirls. Okay. She's making huge moves, establishing herself in the industry as a black woman. She meets the man that could possibly accompany her to fame. However, the desire to be in control of every facet in her life, including the people in it, can be a huge turnoff. Ryder knows what it feels like to have a rewarding career doing just what he loves. He's a highly sought after tattoo artist. He does baby girl's leg, like her whole leg, and it's like real. They get real nasty in the tattoo shop. Anyway, okay. But she forces him to realize that he's craved love without even knowing it. He soon realizes that there's more than what meets the eye when it comes to Tiffany. And these two hearts collide. It's automatic combustion. Their chemistry is off the charts. And listen, I agree. I gave the book 5 stars. 4.5. Rounded up. It was a 5. It was good. What I've said in previous videos about Monica Walters is I appreciate how each of her books feels different. Like, it's a Monica book, but they all feel different. They encompass different things. The characters have different struggles as they're trying to find their happily ever after. So I will always, always, always recommend to get into Monica's extensive catalog, because it's extensive. I think there are like 16 books in this series, just like the Bayrotes had like 20. Like, wild. Okay. I see the end, y'all. Three left. Stay with me. Are you still with me? I hope you are. Okay. Nobody to Love You Better by ML Bash. Shout out to Jaleesa Reese. Jaleesa put this book on her Twitter, and I was like, I want to read. I gotta read it. I didn't even say that. I said, is that what I think it is? I thought it was like a black cowboy romance. Boy, was I in for a surprise. Y'all, it was a why choose romance. Okay. Bear, Ren. Can we get a second for Ren? You've read it. You know what I'm talking about. Let's get a second for Ren. Okay. When it comes to Donovan Moss and Rainier Gaines, Kimber Dixon has proved to be their guardian angel. Both men let Kimber into their hearts, but refuse to allow their feelings to get in the way of years' friendship. Y'all, the two friends both want her and are willing to let the other have her together. Years later, after leaving to make sense of her own life, Kimber returns. Y'all, she meets Donovan Bear in like a bar, and he's like, "You're coming home with me today, and this is gonna be forever." And like, it's pedal to the floor. Well, it becomes a why choose, because his best friend is also in love with her, and instead of making her choose, why choose when you can have both? It's raunchy, it's sexy, it's provocative. I loved it. I gave this motherfucker 5 stars. I don't have to go into. That's it. They living on a ranch. You got 2 cowboys at your disposal. What is the problem? What's the problem? The next book I read was Kiss and Spell, Elemental Lovers, Book 2 by Celestine Martin. I did an entire book on this. An entire video on this series, so I'm not going to go into depth. But what I will say is that it is a paranormal romance that happens in Freya's Grove between 2 characters. One is a witch, one is a fae prince. Okay, and he has a spell on him, and he is trying to get it broken. And he uses his friendship with the witch to get the spell broken, but they end up falling for each other. So cute. And if you know me, I love a cozy romance. This is a cozy paranormal romance, and it was so good. I gave it 5 stars. Celestine Martin does write with a lot of words. Okay, if you know what I mean. There are a lot of words in this book, but it forces you to slow down and it forces you to read it. And I thought it was amazing. Okay, the last book that I read was Saint and the Queen. I'm trying to get into the holiday spirit, jingle jangle. Okay, her dad is Santa Claus and Keenan is now the new Santa. But this is the most ratchet Santa world I've ever been in my life. She smacks her daddy when she meets him because he abandoned her. Because he's like Saint Noel. So he's supposed to be like a magical being that actually is working behind the scenes. And there's an entire world of magical beings that none of us know about. But his daughter was not supposed to be at all. He was supposed to have a wife and have a son. He cheated on the wife, had the daughter. Now they got to bring the daughter into this magical world, pick a new Saint Noel. And let me just tell you, drama. Okay. Now I do hope that Desiree gives us more of the Crystal City and all of the okay, they don't want to be called elves. That's not politically correct. But of all of the people of Crystal City and of the new Saint Noel and his queen, because baby, it was sexy, it was jolly, it was holly, it was giving all the things. Okay, and they track people by snow. So smart. It was smartly done. It was a fun one, and I gave it 5 stars. It was really good. Okay. I feel like I rushed those last 4 to get this out. But if you are still with me, you know what to do. Drop a stack of books down below. And yeah, guys, this was a fun one. It was a great month of reading. Please drop in the comments if you are going to read any of these books. Check them out. If you've read them, y'all know I will get in these comments and talk with y'all. Please talk to me back. And if you want to support me, the entire list of all the books that I read in the month of November is listed in my Amazon storefront, which is tagged down below. And yeah, so I am 9 books away from 200. I don't know what I'm gonna read, y'all. All the books I was supposed to read, I didn't read those. I didn't read other stuff. But I'm gonna try to stay on task and get to my goal. And I hope that you're rounding out your year and finishing and accomplishing all of your goals. But find some time to rest, relax, and prepare yourself mentally for 2024. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, bye.